Thunderbird Nation, welcome to a special episode, a special season preview for softball. This season preview brought to you by Jennifer Davis ERA Realty Center. When you're ready to sell your home, doesn't it make sense to hire a seasoned professional? Call Jennifer Davis from ERA Realty Center, the preferred realtor of Thunderbird Athletics. With 25 years of experience, she can see around the corner for the problems or opportunities that less experienced agents might miss. Jennifer's extensive list of buyers will mean a shorter time on the market and more dollars for you at closing. For a free consultation, call 435-586-9775 or go to buyincedar.com and put Jennifer's experience to work for you. Thank you so much, Jennifer Davis. And thank you, Coach. We're excited to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right. So this, like I said, is going to be this is our first season preview that we're going to do this spring, and we're excited to have Coach Don Williams with us here in the studio. Coach, tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be here in Cedar City.
Yeah, I'm going into my 29th year of coaching. I spent the majority of my time at North Idaho College up in beautiful Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Actually started that program and was there for 22 years and had a great experience there and built it into a national contender, and wasn't really looking for a job, but the former athletic director, Debbie Coram, called me and said they were looking to take the program in a new direction, and after several conversations and came down to Cedar, just fell in love with it as soon as I got here, and looked at it as a good challenge at this time in my career, and packed up the family and moved in 2 weeks. So that's how I landed in Cedar City.
Outstanding. Coeur d'Alene it's a beautiful area. When I was at USU Eastern, we'd travel up there a couple of times, and it is just beautiful up there.
Yeah.
So that had to have been a little bit hard to leave, but you're coming to a wonderful area here in Cedar City.
Yeah, totally different, but beautiful here as well.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us a little bit about what's your favorite thing about Cedar City?
Well, of course, Southern Utah University. It's just a great place to work and go to school, but it was actually the people that were here. You could just tell that it was different, something special about it. And at this point in my career, I want to surround myself with good people, and so I don't regret the decision. But that's probably one of the best things I love about Cedar City. Yeah,
outstanding. I mean, it's a really been awesome for me. I mean, I just started working here in July, and I love it here at the university. It's been really nice to get to know the different people around campus. Mm-hmm. There's such an awesome feeling of home here in Cedar City, I think. So I was going to say, you're definitely not going to say the snow, because we got snow falling when we should be getting ready to play some softball, right?
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about the schedule that we have coming up. And obviously with the snow falling, we don't have any games here in Cedar City for a little while. Mm-hmm. Start off on the road. We've got some big games coming up. This is the opening weekend.
Right.
Headed down to Vegas. Tell us a little bit about the teams that we got coming to that tournament.
Well, we like going down to UNLV because it's a good opener for us, and we've gone there several times before, and typically they only have one Power 5 team there, so that's kind of a good way to get your toes in the water, especially since we don't get a lot of field time prior to our first game. But unfortunately for us, Baylor University is our opening game on Friday. And then Saturday we got to turn around and face number 6 Arkansas. So, quite the competition down there. UNLV is a, very highly competitive Mountain West opponent. And so it's going to be a tough weekend for us, but we're up for the challenge. It's just how the cookie crumbled with the schedule. I talked to Coach Jarvis down there and said, wow, you got so many Power 5s coming in. And she said, those are the people that, wanted to come. So, we're excited about the opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, it's great to see that kind of competition right off the bat. You get to see the girls get a chance to get that measuring stick a little bit. They get to see where the top talent is in the country.
Yes.
So with that, looking for some pretty good weather, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. That's
nice.
The good part.
Yeah.
Nice weather, get out on the field. Have you had a chance to get some practices out on the field?
Only down in St. George. We've gotten down there on our Saturdays, and that's been beneficial for us. So, hopefully 5 days on the dirt will get us to our first game. We're hoping for the snow to melt soon so we can get outside.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, honestly, when you're playing against teams from the South, I mean, you're playing Baylor, University of Arkansas. Those guys have been able to be outside. They're not dealing with snow.
Right.
So one of the things that we've got coming up right after that tournament, we turn around and see UC Santa Barbara the next week.
Right.
Was that just kind of a one-off that they had
they
room
had
on
an
their
opening
schedule?
weekend, and we had an opening weekend, and it worked out. So very excited about going to the beach.
Yeah.
That great weather down there, and really facing an opponent that is more like us. And I think that'll be a good measuring stick for us of where we're at, where our strengths are, where our weaknesses are, and how to move forward from there. But I think that's going to be a really good weekend for us.
Awesome. Yeah. So right after that, turn around, basically go straight back to California, go to Fresno.
Right.
And you're going to face off with, looks like, Idaho State and UC Davis and Fresno State.
Right.
What about those teams excites you? What's good about
Idaho
them?
State's a former Big Sky opponent, and so we have a good idea of what our matchup will be against them. Fresno State's, they're currently rebuilding, but they're going to be very tough. And then what's the other school?
UC Davis.
Oh, UC Davis. Yeah, UC Davis will be a good opponent for us as well. And we're actually going up to Sacramento and UC Davis later. So we actually will see UC Davis 3 times this year.
Yeah.
So they might be the most familiar opponent we'll see in preseason.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be a solid, group of teams to come together. And, Fresno State has tremendous facilities. I think that'll be a good student-athlete experience for our girls, and we're looking forward to that trip as well.
Yeah, that's outstanding. Obviously preseason, you gotta find warm places to play that aren't dealing with the snow and battling that. So you've had Vegas, you go to California twice, and then you turn around and go right back to California a little bit further north in Sacramento. Right. Tell us a little bit about that tournament.
Sac's a former Big Sky opponent as well, and so I think that's going to be a really good tournament for us. I like the opponents that are coming in there. Sac's going to be tough, and then they have some others. I can't remember all the names. We play 52
looks like
games a
St.
year.
Mary's and Alabama State, La Siena, and UC Davis again.
Right, UC Davis again. Alabama State, it's going to be fun to play against them too. We typically don't get some opponents that are mid-majors or Power 5 schools from back there. We get Arkansas, but the Alabama game I'm looking forward to. Yeah,
that'll be really interesting. It's kind of great to see the different talent from different areas of the country. A lot of times we get so focused on our region or our conference, and we kind of start thinking about like recruiting. There's not a whole lot of those players that we get to come out to Cedar City from Alabama. So I mean, it's kind of nice that you get a chance to see some of those players and see kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
So the final preseason tournament that we have, and it's a pair of doubleheaders.
Right.
We've got the Wolfpack Classic in Reno with Texas A&M Commerce and University of Nevada, Reno.
Right. Coach Garza is putting together a great program up there, and they're going to be highly competitive, just like she is, and excited to go up there and just face off against them. Hopefully we get some good weather there. And then, the Texas A&M Commerce, don't know much about them, but they do have a former Olympian as an assistant coach, and Crystal Bustos, and so, she's one of our all-time best hitters in our game, and so I'm sure she's got her team ready to perform offensively, so...
Now she was a first baseman, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and she could swing it, man.
Yeah,
Holy cow, just launch some balls out.
So we'll see what their offense looks like.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of that, kind of that offensive field, do you feel like our roster is more power hitter heavy or slappers, or what do we have?
I think we're gonna have a lot of gap to gap hitters. We're gonna pop a few home runs here and there, but I don't think this is a team that's gonna live or die on the home run. I think we're gonna have to produce runs with a combination of, gap to gap and some small ball, and we got a couple hitters that drive it. But it's, we really are untested. We really need to get out for preseason and see where we're at. And I'm going to be mixing the lineup up a lot and just seeing what is our offensive lineup as we go through preseason.
Yeah, and that's kind of the great thing. I know from coaching baseball, softball, very different, but at the same time, it's that idea of you get to see how hitters react around another hitter. I mean, who's protecting that power hitter, who's out there to get the RBIs, and it's really, really interesting, especially in preseason, to see kind of how lineups develop, and they kind of get better and better as you go, and by the time you hit conference play, should be pretty well locked in, right?
That's the goal.
Good. Well, talking about conference play, we're going to be, it's first year in the WAC.
Right.
A whole bunch of new opponents, a whole bunch of new teams to face off with, some different experience rosters. These guys have been playing mostly Texas schools.
Right.
So we've got a couple of opponents coming to Cedar City, which let's go through the ones that we got coming to Cedar City. So we had UT Arlington.
Yes.
Anything you know about them?
Not much yet. We haven't really dove into that scouting of that team yet, but we will. But just excited to welcome, the teams from Texas up here to beautiful Utah, and should be a great weekend.
For sure. So we've got them coming in, and then right after that we have Stephen F. Austin comes to town as well. And kind of looking through the WAC schedules, the way that it works out, we're playing two Texas teams kind of early in Cedar City, so we might get them a little bit off their game. Might still be a little chilly for them.
Hey, elevation, and let's have a little cool weekend. That'll be in the T-Birds' favor. Yeah,
for sure. Then we have who are the other ones? We had UT Arlington, Stephen F. Austin, Cal Baptist.
Cal Baptist, yeah.
What do we know about Cal Baptist?
We've played them the past 2 years in preseason, and we've been, pretty comparable to them. Last year was a great comparison, but, we know what to expect from them. We know their coaching staff. And so I think that's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle of who can make the least amount of mistakes and who's going to score, the more runs, take advantage of, getting those RBIs in. So they're going to have a good, solid pitching staff. They're well coached. And so I'm looking forward to that weekend.
Awesome. So we have Cal Baptist, and then our final matchup of the year, got to come back to the rivalry. Back to that rivalry. So we have Utah Tech coming to town, and I believe is that graduation weekend?
It is, and we have bumped those games from Friday, Saturday to Saturday, Sunday, so that our seniors could walk on Friday, and that was nice of Utah Tech to make that schedule change for us. This is going to be a great series for us, and I hope we can pack the stands that last weekend. Should have great weather. I've known Randy, the head coach down there, for a long, long time. In fact, we competed against each other in the JUCO ranks when they were NJC 2A, and Randy was the coach.
I was going to say, because they were in that SWAC conference, weren't they?
Yes, yeah, and we were as well. And in fact, in 2006 was one of my favorite memories, was knocking them off in a championship game to go to the national tournament, and that was probably one of the highlights of my career. Randy wasn't very happy, but
but that's outstanding.
So long history, playing the Trailblazers. It's always a tough, heated, games. So if you want to come to a great series, that would be the weekend to circle on your calendar.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So we've got, like I said, we've got those four teams coming in for WAC play. We do have a whole lot of other games from the WAC on the road. Which game on the road are you most looking forward to?
Well, there's going to be two tough weekends for us. We have to fly up to Seattle, and I think that's back-to-back travel weeks if I remember correctly. And Seattle's ranked really high in the preseason poll. Coach Hirai up there, we've been friends for a long, long time. I've known him on and off the field, and he's a great coach, and they have a solid team this year. So that's going to be really rough for us to go up and win on the road, especially with that long of travel and, we're only going a day early. So, we got to come with our A game.
And Seattle was near the top of the WAC rankings last season as well.
Right.
They're probably returning quite a few
right.
good players.
And then GCU.
Yeah,
I
Grand
mean,
Canyon.
yeah, they went to the NC2A tournament last year. He's got that program rolling. They're solid in all areas of their game. We play them the last weekend in the WAC schedule at their place on the road. They've got phenomenal facilities. They pack the house. So that's going to be a good weekend for us. But boy, are we going to have to show up.
Yeah, and I
compete.
believe they returned both the WAC preseason player of the year and WAC preseason pitcher of the year
Correct.
as well. So
Correct.
I mean, they're definitely going to be a tough opponent playing down
Yeah.
in Phoenix, and it's at the end of the year too.
Right.
So it'll be nice and warm, maybe a little hot.
Yes. Yeah. One
So-
positive, though, it's the end of the year, so we should be playing our best ball by then.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, we'll see.
Outstanding. Well, let's talk a little bit about the roster that we've got coming back for the T-Birds. Starting out in the outfield. Tell me a little bit about your outfield crew.
We really had some gaps in our defense last year and our offense as well. So Coach Lauren Watts went out and she just, filled some great holes for us. And I think we got two key outfielders that have joined us this year. And the first one's a transfer from St. George, Utah, but she went to Salt Lake Community College out of high school, and that's Allie Lobb. And, she's just a kid that has great speed, can track down the balls, and on top of that, just a great human being that brings great energy, to our dugout and our team, and just a great kid to coach. And so she's just been a huge plug in our outfield that we needed to fill from last year. And then we have a freshman that came in, Alea Toscano, and she's just the same, fast, great arm. And probably the thing that most has surprised me about her is her leadership in the outfield. She just does a great job of leading the outfield, a lot of great communication, and she's just really elevated our outfield overall. And so between those two, being able to track down some balls, I mean, that's just going to be great to get some outs,
Yeah,
where
sure.
we need to get them.
We'll put together a good no-fly zone out there, right?
Yeah.
So coming from the outfield, let's move in a little bit. Talk about your infielders. See what do we have on the infield?
Right. Probably the biggest addition to our infield is our transfer, Miranda Lopez, and she comes from Eastern Kentucky. And she has great glove work. And, she has good range, and we needed that. We needed a middle infielder that could come in and get the job done. And she was up for the challenge. We asked her to come in and play shortstop. She'd been playing second base, and, she's really put some time in to get her arm, stronger. And that's just been having great leadership to have a redshirt junior in our infield to plug it up.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
and there's going to be a feature article coming out on her later on this week.
Yeah.
We're excited. James Wilson, one of our interns at our sports information, has written a great article. We're going to go ahead and get that pushed out later on this week because we're so excited, ready to get this softball season started.
Right. And then we have returner Jane Sepulveda. She played, second base for us last year, and the kid's just solid. She's probably our most consistent player, both on defense and offense.
So she led the team in batting average last year, and I think in doubles too, I want to say, or something like that.
She did a great job, and that was her freshman season. So she's doing really well, and that kid just has such purposeful preparation that she comes in, works hard every day, puts her head down. Quiet kid, she's opened up a little bit, but she gets the job done, and you can always see her working, and working by herself on tees and whatever we're doing, very purposeful, and she's just going to be solid for us. And then we've got a newcomer at third base in Emily Gonzalez. And the kid led us in the fall ball, led in batting on the team. So she just was producing left and right in our fall ball scrimmages. Had a phenomenal fall training with us. She's a beast in the weight room. So she's going to do really well for us. I think for her, we got to get her comfortable. Freshman, going to play a lot of innings, just being comfortable on a bigger stage and, being okay with that. And so I'm excited to see her this weekend to see how she reacts.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, we got Maddie Sanders over at first base. She's been with me. She's one of the two seniors that have been with me the 4 years I've been here. She's the glue of our team. She's the team mom, but she's a phenomenal first baseman that can dig almost anything and does a great job leading the infield as well. And then also up the middle, we've got Mika Husky. She's a freshman, has a really high softball IQ, comes in and just, trains hard, gets, does the work, a great kid to coach, just love having her on the team. And I think, depending on who's hitting, we'll fill that right field spot. And sometimes Jane and Mika, they switch off, but we've also got Sophia Massoud, that's a utility player, and she's hitting really well right now, and she can play infield and outfield. So that kind of builds some of our positions right there with the main kids.
Awesome. Well, that sounds pretty exciting. We got some good players coming back. Mm-hmm. So real quick, the group that everybody always wonders about, everybody's always like, this is the number one question everybody that asks is, what do we got in the circle? Who's throwing for us?
Right. Well, we have 5 pitchers right now. Now, Grace Owen is injured, so she's not cleared yet. So that takes us down to 4. The number one returner that we have is Kimon Winston, and she's a sophomore. And, that kid, we got in some trouble in the pitching circle last year due to injuries and some things like that. And so, Kimon got thrown into the fire last year, and she threw way more innings than any freshman should have thrown. She just was, our only arm that we really had to produce a lot of innings that had the most consistency. So as a sophomore, she just has so much more poise and, gets in the circle, and, we just know she's going to have composure, and she's going to get us through what we need to get through. So she just looks stronger. She's starting to spin the ball more, not trying to blow it past batters, and she's really grown in the last year. And so excited for her to have some help in the circle. We brought in a transfer in Shelby Basso from Fordham, and she's a Las Vegas kid. She's a junior. She has really good spin on her ball, good control, and I think she's going to be really effective for us and contribute with innings. And then Riley Nielsen from Tucson, Arizona, she's a freshman, and she's just a tall, long-levered kid that, throws really well, has some good spins and different pitches, and she's got so much upswing in her game. We really feel like, man, the sky's the limit with this kid. And going to be excited to see her go out and compete. She's going to get some crucial games this weekend, and so we'll see how her composure is and how she does. But she does a great job in our scrimmages and in practice, so I think she's going to be just fine. And then we have a fourth pitcher available in Capri Franzen, and this kid, she throws hard and has some off-speed stuff. She'll be more of a role pitcher for us. So I see us pitching by committee, as most teams do in the nation nowadays because of the hitting and how advanced it is. But I see the pitching staff just working together, and these days it's hard to find a pitcher that can go full 7 because you have a hard time getting past the hitters. There's too much film. There's too much information.
They get so consistent. I mean, they get the chance to see the same pitch or the same pitcher a couple of times, and then they understand what's coming. They know what to expect, and so it's definitely hard to get through 7 with a pitcher.
So pitch by committee, and much improved from last year, and so we're looking forward to our circle this year.
Awesome. And, well, the battery wouldn't be complete without the catchers. Who do we got behind the dish?
Yeah, so we were a little thin last year, and we're still trying to build up that catcher position. But we went out and got a transfer from Arizona Central, Bella Garcia. She's got, she's a JUCO bandit.
Yeah.
And I know my JUCO bandits, man. Those are blue-collar kids that, work. And she's got 2 years of, she's got over 100 games under her belt as a junior. And so we needed someone like that. And Bella really came in and started training really hard, did a lot of work in the weight room, got her body physically, ready, because we told her, hey, you're going to have a lot of innings this year. We need you physically fit and ready to go. And she's ready. And she's a great catcher. She works hard behind the plate, earning strikes for our pitchers, has a phenomenal arm. So I think she's going to do really well this year. We've got a couple backup catchers as well, but when it gets down to it, Bella's going to be in the game the majority of the time.
Yeah, for sure. Now, catcher by trade here.
Yeah.
That's what I did. There's a lot to be said about that position and excuse me, and how that position can kind of control the field. They see everything.
Exactly.
So it's one of those positions where as much as like the history of the position is that was where you stuck your guy that could swing or your girl that could really swing it. I mean, it's got to be a lot more now.
Oh, it is. It's so much more, and she does a great job back there, and our backup catchers do as well. So
outstanding. Yeah. Well, Coach, tell me a little bit about your. I mean, you've talked a lot about your transfers. Is there one player coming up from the recruiting circuit? You guys just finished recruiting as well. You and Coach Watts have been working hard. You got a couple of good signees this last couple. I mean, I guess it was about a month ago.
Yeah.
Right. So what do we have coming in as well? I mean, just that are going to push these girls.
Well, we have a pitcher coming in, and she's going to do a great job for us. And I think we're trying to get to the point where we've got like 4 pitchers that, in each class. We haven't been able to do that. It's been, it's just hard to level out your roster when you inherit a program. But we've got a great freshman coming in that she's going to do well for us, and an outfield and infielder. And so we're just trying to build depth in all of our positions. Freshmen, a lot of times, most of the time, is a developmental year for them, and when they bust in lineup, that's great. We just haven't had that luxury here yet because of building the program and only being here 4 years, and the first year being COVID, and then we had all the red shirt options and stuff like that. So we're finally starting to balance out our 24 and 25 class, and we feel like we're on the right track with the incoming kids that we have right now. We haven't really wrapped up our 25 class yet, but we're getting close.
Awesome. All right. Well, Coach, we're looking forward to an exciting season. Very, very exciting season of Thunderbird Softball coming at us. Any shout outs you want to give?
I think I've mentioned a lot of the players. I think I got to give a shout out to my staff. Lauren Watts, my assistant, she gets out and grinds every day. We're a small staff. We don't got a lot of extra people on staff, but she does a great job of getting out and recruiting and running our program, and can't do it without her. And then Kayla Curtin, our volunteer assistant, she comes in every day and is preparing the team and player development and doing a great job there. And so we may be small, but, we're working hard. And, I think I give a shout out to my staff on all the hard work that they do every day.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, thank you for coming on today. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I mean, I could talk softball all day. I'm so excited, but we're going to wrap it up. Thank you for joining us. For Coach Don Williams, I'm Regan Hunsaker signing off.